Howdy fellas. So I got the tank off the red car this morning. These things, I always try to take extra care not to dig them up because the ones you get at the chain store just don't seem to be as good. So I had some garbage on top of here. Had a mud dauber nest was right here and all this stuff. I don't know what all that is. Nasty crap, but I'm gonna blow it off and get the pump out and see how it is. I just got a weird feeling it's not the pump. It might be that hose that goes from the pump to the line, but we'll see here in a minute. Hang on. Alright fellas, just to show you, instead of telling you a number, this is the fuel pump I used. It comes with the sock, wires, both clips for the fuel lines, and most importantly in my case, because I need a new one, is a little gasket that goes underneath the fuel housing, fuel pump housing, and that little S line. And it's like $100. And for anybody who was military or a former military, veteran, if you call up, you can go onto the Summit site and go, if you've got an account on ID Me, you can get set up so that you get a percentage off on a lot of stuff you buy. It won't tally up until you get your stuff in the cart and you pay for it. Then it'll show how much of a discount you get. Just a heads up, I just found out about it a couple weeks ago. And so I figured I'd let y'all know too if any of y'all are veterans or military. All right, appreciate y'all. We'll see you in the next clip. Okay guys, I got the hoses made. So those are ready to go on. Clean the ends out a little bit too because they're pretty nasty. So this is what came off. You can see, I guess because the car I don't drive it that often. Of course I will now, but I would drive it like once a week or so before. So it got kind of crusty, barnacles on it. And luckily that kit came with another one of these because this was a little pinched. I don't know if I'd run that again. So I'm glad the kit had another one of those in it. The one that replaced this is already on the car. Now I just got to put these two on, and got the sock on, and I ended up using the sock that was in the kit. I went to O'Reilly's and all they had was stuff from China, so I went ahead and used the stuff in the kit because I looked on the box, everything was made in the US. So I feel a little better about that. Got to make sure, lubricate that with some good silicone. Same with the filler neck that goes in there. You don't want to do prison style on this because by God, that'll tear up that thing. And then when you get it on and put gas in it, you'll have a leak. There's a box that the fuel pump sits in. Kind of, hold on a second. Let me get the light up here. Maybe you can see in there. I kind of doubt it because it's, you see that box in there that the fuel pump sits in. It's supposed to keep the fuel around the pickup, so it sits like so. So when you put your fuel pump in, you got to orient that sock a little bit to the one side so it'll kind of have room in there. And then you just got to make sure when you put it in, it goes into that little bathtub so you can pick up the fuel. And then this thing is nothing with this. This is your connection for your fuel level. And then this obviously connects up to the spot on the harness on the, comes up by the spare tire well. So I got to get this thing on like so and get this in there. I'll catch you in the next one. So fellas, so I got the red car running. I started looking at the individual video segments last night, and the one, I always hold the phone like this, but one of them recorded that way for, I don't know why, Android Life. So I didn't want to put that on there because it would just be weird. So I'm not going to redo that segment, but what I'm going to do is cover what was in that. And I was showing in that part of the video the stuff I found in the when I drained the tank. So I drained the tank into a 5-gallon bucket because before I pulled the tank off, I had a feeling it wasn't really the pump, because the pump sounded fine. Normally, if the pump goes, you can, the difference in sound, you know, granted it changes a little bit over time, but it just still sounded good. Normally they'll get like a growl instead of like a whir or buzz, and it still sounded fine. So I thought maybe that little S hose got a split in it or deteriorated. I use the 10% fuel. That's kind of pretty much all they sell around here. They don't sell 93 in 93 octane in the ethanol free like they used to, so kind of limited there. But I'm always careful to use top tier gas. You can go just search for top tier gas. It'll give you a list of stations with the better gas. And another thing I do is I also don't get gas from a station if the truck is there filling up the tanks. So I thought I was doing everything right, but it's just a sock after so many years. And granted, I don't drive the car that often, you know, once a week, once every other week. I guess that corn fuel just did something to the sock. So the sock was the culprit. Let me see, I might have it. Yeah, straight, had to get it out of the trash can, but this is what it just, the outer sheaves started breaking down, and there's a lot of this stuff all over. So what I did, I'll show you here. I put the gas in a 5-gallon bucket first, and there's a lot of junk in there. Looks like sand almost. And then I always do this. I use the paint strainer. When I drain antifreeze out of the car, I'm going to put it back in. I always put it back in the tubs or the buckets with the paint strainer. But that's what was in there. Just a lot of, it's from the filter, the sock. So I looked on Rock Auto, and Carter makes a sock. It's made in the US, and it's like $3.50 I think each. So next time I place an order at Rock Auto, I'll get some of them. They carry them out Summit too, but they're like double the price. They're closer to $9 on there. So anyway, that's it. Drove the car around last night. Seems to be good. Still having issues with that. I've got a Wilson 90mm throttle body, and the set screw for the idle, it doesn't have like a spring behind it. It's just a regular screw, and there's like a stop nut on it. If that, you can't get the stop nut tight the way it's oriented. So I'm gonna put my 90mm AccuFab on. That's got a spring behind the set screw for the idle. Let me see, like that. I found this little guy. I might try to see if I can modify it to put that on. But anyway, it's kind of aggravating trying to get the idle dialed in, and the set screw keeps moving around. So I'll get that remedied, and then today I'm working on the heads for the, gonna start the heads for the pickup. Alrighty, we'll get this wrapped up and put her up on the YouTubes. Appreciate y'all. Later. What's up, fellas? Happy birthday, America. It's July 4th. It's hotter than balls out still. I mean, it's July and it's Florida. So what I'm doing is, again, I looked at a couple of videos I had intended to put in this main video, all the pieces, parts put together. And one of them was like this. And so I looked through the settings to make sure I hadn't changed something, but it still did it. So I thought it was worthwhile to put the car up on out here and then show you what I was doing. I had to swap out one of the hangers for the tailpipe because when I put them on, I couldn't find the one I had. So anyway, let me get under here and I'll show you what I'm doing. All right, so what I did when I had the car in the garage last week, I replaced all the plastic fuel line with this stuff, the Russell, I think it is. It's the push lock, I think it's 1/4 inch. Anyway, Summit sells it. All I had to do was cut the plastic pieces off, the end fittings off the plastic hose, and then push these on. This one, that was bare. I could not, even though I heated the hose up with my heat shrink gun and, you know, put some Teflon lube on it, I could not get it to go all the way on. There's like one big barb at the end. I couldn't get it on past that, so I put a piece of zip tie on there. Hopefully I don't have any issues. That's a little scary with the fuel line, but there's a couple other barbs in front of it, so it should be good. And over here I got all the lines, you know, zip tied together. And on the, if you can see up in here, I put a big old zip tie on the where is it? There we go. Try not to, there. So anyway, that is, it gives some rigidity to the donut, you know, because if they keep going all the way, bounce them to their full limit, it's going to get wore out and eventually break. So I just put that big zip tie on there to keep kind of reinforce it. And that's what the rest of it looks like up there. I got to pull it around and make sure the O2 sensors are hooked up to the right side, to the right O2, because I've taken like 15% or better out of the mass air curve just to try to get it leaned out a little bit, but it's still running down the road at cruise. It's still like 12 to 1 or so. It keeps trying to pull fuel, but it's a lot to try to pull, so I got to see what's going on with that. And but the tuning's coming along. It idles now and it doesn't act up. Changing that throttle body helped a lot. That other one is causing me lots of aggravation. So I'll get this wrapped up and get her up on the YouTube. Appreciate y'all. Later.